What is going on, guys? This is indeed Change the F Up, the only place where the format is never the same because, well, let's face it, change is a part of life. Of course, as always, you can check us out on Spreaker.com, iTunes, Player.fm, PodDirectory.com, Stitcher.com, TuneIn Radio, IW Nerd, as well as Satchel Podcast Player, and Mr. NTG1990 on YouTube. Hello, everybody. My name is Nate the Effing Great, and I am joined here by the one, the only VicTori. Belle, how are you?
I'm great. I'm excited about our conversation we're about to have.
Oh boy, it is going to be the best of the best of the best of the best movies this year, you guys. We have so much. We are trying to limit it down to so much that we can, but also we have movies that have not exactly come out yet that we will be discussing later on in the show. Before we get into that, I did announce that last week we would have the winner of the debates announced, and drum roll please, it's a tie between Marvel and DC. So, you know something? I'm totally fine with that. It's one of those things where you brought up some good points, I brought up some good points. It was honestly a lot of fun hearing each other's perspective on how how DC differentiates from Marvel and how Marvel differentiates from DC. All in all, it was a great show, and honestly, I'm hoping that everybody that listened to that show enjoyed it. So, thank you guys so much for listening in, and thank you, Tori, for bearing with my competitive edge.
It's always fun. So I guess it's like everything else in the world, we get a participation trophy.
Well, nice little pat on the back, something like that. But we're going to just pass on from that, because we are here talking about the major positives from this year. I know a lot of people are, of course, saying, this year's been kind of crappy. Not necessarily. Last year, 2015, for movies, it was great. And this year, for movies, it was actually pretty damn good. 2017, oh boy, if we get into talking about that, there's going to be a lot to cover when it comes down to that. But we're going to start with 2016, and we can't really start 2016 without starting with our own favorite fourth wall breaking, smart-ass superhero himself, talking about Mr. Deadpool. Ryan Reynolds, he needed some kind of movie to really get off his the bandwagon of DC and the Green Lantern, because we all know how well that turned out, as he mentioned in the movie. All honesty, this was probably Ryan Reynolds' best work, in all honesty. I've seen a lot of his movies, whether it be The Proposal, saw a little bit of The Green Lantern. I'm trying to think of, I thought there was one more other movie that I saw him in. I forgot which one it was, but all honesty, this was just one of those movies that he really felt comfortable in. He could be funny, he could be serious, it was almost like he could just be himself, and it was just really awesome. I loved every single bit about this movie. The plot was great. The characters were well developed. All in all, awesome. But what are your thoughts about Deadpool?
Oh man, Deadpool is fantastic. I think I saw it twice in theaters. And when you see something twice in theaters, you're like, this is a good one. This is a keeper. The reason I had to see it twice though too is there's just so many subtle hints and subtle jokes in there that you don't get until you see it twice. Because the first time you see it, I'm just trying to enjoy it. But the second time, you get to read all the stuff, the beginning, opening credits are just hilarious. You write every little thing in there is a joke. There's just so much little subtle things, and that he says and that he does. And, his little hand jokes. It was just one of those stories that it really flowed well, even though they broke it up into different parts. We started in the middle of the movie, but that just seemed so Deadpool. So oh, by the way, I'm killing people right now, but I promise I have a backstory for it. There's a reason. I'm not a total bitwad, but yeah.
I definitely. Oh man. There were just a lot of funny moments, like you said, and he just seemed like he fit that character very well. And the actress who played Vanessa, geez Louise, I will say there was only one part of that movie I did not like, and that was one of the parts, the sex scenes that happened, and they did like the Women Appreciation Day deal, and yeah, that was one of those moments where I'm just like, I'm going to just close my sphincter right now, and I'm not going to look and see what happens. Nope. And even when I watched it here at my own place, I still had to look away. I'm like, yeah, nope, not happening.
I thought that was hilarious on the holidays they celebrated.
They celebrated Chinese New Year, for God's sakes. It was, oh, man.
But no, I have to say Deadpool was definitely high on the list. If we were actually putting these in order, which we're not because it's almost impossible to do. There were so many good movies.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
But, yeah. Amazing.
But, all right, so I named one. Why don't you name one? What was a movie that kind of stood out for you this year and that you thought was really good?
So, I'm going to try to do it in, order of what month it came out, but I don't really remember when it came out. So my next one, I guess, would be X-Men Apocalypse. So I'm sticking on the X-Men train of Deadpool. Deadpool is considered sometimes an X-Men. We'll see. We'll see where he goes from here. But, X-Men Apocalypse was, I think, the first X-Men movie in all the movies that they've released that I was like, yes, thank you, good job, Sony, or whoever. I'm pretty sure it was Sony who put it on because Sony owns them. But I was like, oh, they did something right. Like, they didn't introduce the characters too long because for some reason, just like DC, they like to remind you who the characters that you follow and love are in the X-Men. They're okay, we get it. This is why I'm watching this in the first place. I like these characters. But they introduced a brand new squad, a brand new young group of people that can probably take this X-Men group and go on to kind of the adventures of that 90s cartoon X-Men. That's kind of where I see this going. And the 90s cartoon is what first kind of really started bringing the X-Men to life, bringing the pages of the comic book off and really showing what they can do. And I don't know if you remember the 90s cartoon at all, but that was one of my favorite things to watch. It come home from school and turn it on. And so X-Men Apocalypse having the Four Horsemen being there and all the powers and all the fighting. It was great. It was a great combination of thought and action and getting to see these mutants actually show their power. Because a lot of times in the movies I feel like, especially Storm. Storm is one of the most powerful mutants out there. She controls the dang weather. And they never let the Halle Berry Storm do anything besides make her eyes turn white. Come on, she should be the most powerful person.
I was about to say she was also like Catwoman for DC, wasn't she?
We're pretending that didn't happen.
Oh, well, in that case then.
I didn't even watch that movie after seeing, I saw, I think, a scene from it where a bunch of cats, come out to her and start, meowing or something, and I just laughed and turned it off. I was like, no, I don't think she's really, Catwoman isn't that involved with cats. Not thousands of stray cats come around her, and just, no. That was awful.
Well, it seems like we're going to have to do a top 5 worst movies of all time, and I think that's going to be probably on her list. But anyway, we're not here talking about the bad ones. We're talking about the good. And honestly, this year has been a really good year for Marvel and for Disney because they have just had hit after hit after hit after hit. This next one that, oh gosh, I was completely nervous about because, all honesty, it's another live-action remake that they did, and I thought, oh boy, this is going to probably either be really good or it's just going to just not do anything at all, and it's just not going to even come close to reaching what the original was, and that being The Jungle Book. Oh man, coming in, I was so nervous. I'm thinking, oh boy, they're going to really sour this name, aren't they? But then, as soon as I saw the movie, left the theater, and I had a smile on my face, like, okay, they did a really damn good job. It was really, well done. I mean, you still had a lot of the voice talents of Bill Murray, Scarlett Johansson, Christopher Walken, who I thought was an amazing King Louis. He just somehow fit the bill so well. Bill Murray did play a little bit of that, cool collective bear, as Baloo would have to be. And, surprisingly, Scarlett Johansson, even showing up for maybe a minute and a half scene, she still did a really good job. That was one of those things where I'm thinking, okay, they're in the original, they have a guy. This one, they have a woman playing. Not trying to be stereotypical. It's just one of those things where it's like, is this going to work? And it worked immensely. It worked probably even better. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. Again, stories was familiar, a lot of different aspects of it, but also they had at least 2 songs from the original, which was always awesome to see. And honestly, I never even thought that Christopher Walken could even sing for that matter. I was like, holy cow, Christopher Walken can actually sing. I'm impressed.
Yeah, I love the fact that they added the song. We've talked about this before, but I have to bring it up every time we talk about a Disney remake live action. Is that this movie was amazing, and it just brought us back to our childhood by bringing these things to life, and also having that music that really attached us to the movies. And that's why I'm crossing my fingers for Beauty and the Beast. Please be good.
Well, a lot of people really liked the trailer, but obviously a lot of people know in the past that even though the trailer could look awesome, the movie itself can be a bit of a flop. I mean, there's a lot of game movies that I think a lot of people could probably agree with. I think one being, of course, I think Lara Croft was one of them. I'm trying to think what else was there. I think Mortal Kombat was another one where it's like, oh great, they're making a Mortal Kombat movie, and then they're just like, no, never again. But again, not getting on the negatives, focusing on the positives. So
we keep going down that road.
Well, that's
it's a good way to explain why the movies are so good. It's like, well, it didn't do what this movie did, and this is why we hated this movie.
Right. All right, Tori, you're up.
Okay, I'll stick on. I'll ride the Disney train then too, and bring up one that was a little odd, and I don't think I would have watched it if I wasn't with a child at the time. She was 6 at the time. I was watching my sister's daughter and or whatever you call when it's not really hers, and it's just her boyfriend's child that you're watching. And she wanted to watch Zootopia, and I looked at it, and just by looking at it, you're like, oh man, this is going to be one of those weird talking animal ones that I'm not going to like at all. And we put it in, and instantly I was enthralled. I think my sister even took a picture of me and Ruby, the little girl, watching it with our mouths open, oh, this is awesome. And it's basically about these animals take on a humanoid mode, so they wear clothes now, and they work, and they do their own things, and predator and prey live together in harmony and peace, except there's conflict. Something's awry, and this little bunny wants to be a cop, and it's kind of just breaking stereotypes and barriers, and trying to be a good person, and there's all these great scenes, and it just was so cute. I couldn't handle how cute it was, but it also wasn't just a kid's movie. I have to compare it to one that I also saw with her that was not good. To me, I didn't like it. Secret Life of Pets. Have you heard of that one, Nate?
Secret Life of Ted.
Of Pets. Secret Life of Pets.
Oh, Secret Life of Pets. Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Did you see that one at all?
I don't think I did, actually.
That's good. Don't see it. It has good voices in it. It has Kevin Hart's in it and stuff like that, and it looks kind of just like Zootopia, talking animals having a good time.
Oh my gosh!
It was just so childish. There was no humor that was just for adults, and that's kind of what Disney does. So Secret Life of Pets, I'm pretty sure is a DreamWorks animation, and they didn't